Hey guys! So, this is our last full week of school before we get to our Christmas break. And I feel like an elf, but I'm not in Santa's workshop. I'm still stuck in Louisiana. And specifically, I'm in a closet. So, if you wonder if you're having a bad day, you aren't. Because I'm not either. I'm kind of digging this closet business. Anyways, we're not here to talk about me and the closet and all that stuff. We're here to finish up our book, Stone Girl, Bone Girl. We've talked about the beginning of her life. Struck by lightning, didn't die. That was one thing that happened in the beginning. And then remember, what else? If you don't remember, go back and re-listen to the story. You can go on YouTube. It's on the next slide at the beginning. There's a link in there. But at the beginning, remember, struck by lightning. Almost died, but she didn't. Then, oh yeah, remember, she grew up in a place where the hills were like chocolate. Like they would fall into the ocean. Not a good thing. So she kind of learned about how to be safe and all that stuff. And then, remember, her dad showed her curiosities and she got a little crazy about them. Like, she loved them. That's all she could think about at nighttime in her bed. And that grew and grew and grew. And then the really sad thing happened in the middle part of the story. Remember, Pepper got sick. Oh, the Philpott sisters came along. They told her that curiosities were not curiosities, but that they were fossils. And then Pepper died. And my ear came into the book. So Pepper died. And that was really sad. And then that dog showed up. And the last time we were together talking about this book, remember there were some big problems. And Mary showed what kind of girl she was, because even though they had problems and she was hungry all the time and stuff, and her mom couldn't get enough money for food, Mary didn't give up. She kept on working. She even came up with her own job of selling curiosities. And even though the other kids were mean to her and were like, Stone Girl, out on her own girl, she kept on doing what she knew was right. Well, and then in the middle part, she wanted to find that monster, that sea monster, because she figured if she could find it, maybe she could get a lot of money. So let's find out what happens at the end of the story. And her character, she wasn't like, I want to find a dinosaur and just left it at that. No, she had perseverance. She didn't give up, even when she got in a dip. She was a hard worker. She was a diligent worker. She did all these things. So let's see if this hard work paid off. Sharing my screen with you. Oh wait, I don't want you to see the end part, because that would take away the fun. And that would definitely put me on a bad list. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I think I have it hidden well enough. You kind of like me in this elf business, huh? I wish I could look like this all the time. Not like all the time, because then people would just think I was creepy. Anyways, close read. Remember, close read is looking closely at it, so it's stuck in your head. See anything cool? She's back by those dangerous cliffs. You can see her tools in her pouch. And you can't see here, but look, there's a little dog. I love the little dog in those. Okay, let's see. Here we go. One morning, Mary was so busy daydreaming, she didn't notice that her dog had wandered away. She ran along the beach, calling for him because he was nowhere to be seen. I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to make a connection to myself. Because when we read, we don't just like, oh, okay, that happened. But no, how do you think she felt? I mean, I have 4 dogs at home. One time I couldn't find Cosmo and he was supposed to be in the house, and I like ran through the house yelling for him. And I really got scared. And then it came out that he was sleeping and he was mad at me for waking him up. But this is not that situation. They're at the beach, so she's looking around for him. At last, she heard a faint barking. Faint. It's quiet. Maybe he's hurt. And looking up, she saw the speckled dog high on the slope, on the sloping side of the cliff. So that's why it was faint. He was so quiet because he was so high up. Mary called for him to come down, but the little dog wouldn't move. Naughty list for the dog. He was furiously scratching at something in the clay. Mary had no choice. She began slowly to climb the rock face. Very dangerous. At last, she reached the small ledge where the dog was standing. Her heart missed a beat. She couldn't believe what she saw. Grinning up at Mary was an enormous skull. Do you know what a skull is? A skull is the bone in your head. Like in Halloween, we see a lot of skulls. And if it doesn't have flesh on it, your skin, it looks like you're grinning all the time. The little dog had found the sea monster. Dun, dun, dun. All morning, Mary scraped furiously with Pepper's hammer. This was going to be a lot of work. She better not give up. Oh my goodness. There was more than a skull, a whole skeleton, perhaps, but it was far too big for Mary to cope with on her own. Who could help her? Suddenly, she remembered Pepper's old friends, the quarrymen. Quarrymen are people who work with rocks. Leaving the little dog to guard the monster. Think the little dog could guard it? Mary Amy climbed carefully down to the beach, then ran as fast as she could to the quarry. I found it! She shouted. I found the sea monster! Stop and visualize that. Again, when we're doing a close read, the goal is not to read as fast as you can just to get through it. The goal is to know what happened. She found the sea monster. She got lots of money for the small fossils she found. Can you imagine the big ones she found? And then she runs to these grown-up guys and says that she found a sea monster? Do you think they believe her? Let's see. In less than 10 minutes, Mary was leading a group of quarrymen carrying picks and shovels up the side of the cliff. So they did believe her. I wonder why they did. Oh, and again, did you see the sea monster? Pretty cool. Looking at the pictures. Ooh, look how Mary looks. Look at the cute little dog. So proud of the dog. And look how big that sea monster is. Wow. Okay, let's see what happens. The news spread like fire through the town. Now, like means that there wasn't fire in the town, but it's to help you have a picture in your head. Huh, what was it like? Fire can move pretty fast. One time, I caught my hair on fire. It moved really fast. But fortunately, I moved pretty fast too, and I put it out. But fire moves fast. So when the news, everybody knew. And they didn't even have cell phones back then. So what did they talk about? Mary Anning has found the sea monster. Mary Anning has found it. An excited crowd gathered on the beach to watch the excavation. To excavate is to pull it out. The Mrs. Philpott arrived in their fine clothes and made a tremendous fuss of Mary. Even the children who had teased her came to watch. But they weren't laughing now. Obviously. Pretty cool about it. The evening sun melted into the sea. A strange... Okay, wait. So remember it said in the morning she was daydreaming? And now it says the evening sun. So like a detective, let's think through that. How long did it take them to get it? A strange procession, like a parade, made its way back to the town. A small girl, covered in mud, led the crowd. At the back, 6 strong quarrymen carefully carried the bones of a real sea monster, as long as a tree and more than 165 million years old. Pretty crazy stuff. I actually, if you go to the Houston Science Museum, they have a replica of this, and it's so awesome. Maybe we could do a virtual tour there, like all together. It'd be pretty fun. Anyways, let's find out. The skeleton was laid out on the floor of Pepper's workshop for the world to see. Da, da, da. For months afterward, visitors came to meet the fossil girl of Lyme Regis. Famous scientists came in carriages from London, and even the king of Saxony. Mary got kind of famous there. A king came to see her. It was the most important fossil ever found, they said. I wonder why it was so important. Close read, I'm going to ask myself questions. Why was it so very important? Let's see. They called the monster an ichthyosaurus, or fish lizard. Don't know quite where they got that. It looks more like a fish to me, but we'll see why. The museum that bought it paid enough money for Mary and her mother to live happily for the rest of their lives. Miss O, can you imagine how much money that must be? It would be like you getting enough money that you would never have to work again. Maybe we should stop being teachers and go find dinosaur bones.
Not really. I like teaching.
Yeah, and I think we need to find a dog that could guard dinosaur bones. Because my dogs couldn't. They'd follow me. Or they'd break the bones. Could you imagine they got that much money? Imagine if you found a dinosaur bone and your family never had to work again. Could go have a nice house. So anyways, that's a lot of money. But the strange thing was, the little speckled dog had gone. As if he had done his work and drifted away. Sometimes Mary imagined she could hear a faint barking from far, far away in the sea mist. Then Mary Anning would smile and touch the little snake stone around her neck and step back into the warm workshop where the shelves were filled with treasures from the dark, dangerous. So, we finished the book. Pretty good book. That is a real life book. It's called nonfiction because it's real. And we learned about Mary Anning and her great discovery. But we still don't know why it was such a big deal that she found that bone. We're going to have to do some more research, I guess. But on our next activity, you're going to need to tell me what happened at the beginning of her life, the middle, and the end according to this book. Because we don't really know what happened when she became a grown-up lady and all that stuff. So just the end of this book. Can't wait to hear your answers. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Remember, we're almost to Christmas. Work hard.